This is a looked at it. A few votes in there. Don't look at it.
We need to. Oh, are we? Fuck.
Oh,
Hi.
Slide for us more.
How's it freaking going? Probably should tweet.
Yeah, chuck a tweet up. Chuck a tweet up. We'll hang out with chat for a minute.
Yeah. Podcast.
How are you, Sly? I bet you're excited about Kingdom Hearts 4 coming out, Sly. I know that you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, mate.
Yeah, Sly will be fucking ready to go. Sly was talking about Kingdom Hearts the other day, I remember, before it even got announced.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it too much, but it does look pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, we'll leave it for the body.
Tweeting it, Cap. Giving it the old tweedly tweeters.
G'day, Retro.
Yo, Retro Swim. How are you, man? It's good, mate. How's the Kaizo and stuff going, Retro? What have you been playing, mate? What have you been playing, buddy?
Hey, g'day, Retro.
I should fucking... I want to have different monitor set. Have either of you guys got your monitors on ARMs?
I bought 2 ARMs yesterday. They're on their way.
Oh man, I want mine on ARMs.
Dude, get the one. I'll send you a link. They're like $50 an arm, and they can. Wait, how big are your monitors? Probably get them cheaper.
Costs you an arm and a leg.
Oh, dude, I've actually got one you can have if you want.
That was fantastic.
Dude, no, can't believe you said it.
I spent like hours going frame by frame through the trailer.
Wow.
Really, just wanted to get every frame.
Did you find anything interesting in there that we should talk about on the thing?
That's a great.
Yeah, anything to add to the run sheet? I know that there's like some weird bar underneath the health that can't be explained yet or something, isn't there? That I saw some people talking about.
That's the
max gauge, or there's some funny bar. The jizz bar.
It's been maxed out.
But God, suits the name Retro though, doesn't it, mate? Doesn't it?
Haven't played much. Been doing them already. Oh, nice. Fuck yeah. Potential for Star Wars in the game would be fucking nuts.
Star Wars, hell yeah. So I always loved the crossovers in those games. Like I fucking loved having Goofy and fucking all the.
Dude, you know what I realized? Unrelated, but we didn't even talk about the new fucking Witcher game. We haven't spoken about that yet in this, but obviously not going to be happening today because our run sheet is fucking huge.
We've added it in to talk to
topic. It's in topic 2.
Yeah,
as a second.
Oh,
yeah, but it's just talking against Unreal because they've.
Oh, actually, yes, I remember vaguely talking about this.
But I haven't done any research on the Witcher game.
You wrote it as Unreal.
Yeah, that's actually in mine too, dude.
Unreal.
Do I have to fix that? No, it should be right.
Well,
she'll be right.
I'll fix it now because you'll go and copy and paste it for the description, and then it will be like, fuck.
Got the platinum. Oh, dude. See, you know what? I'm fucking slightly pissed off at myself, Retro, that
platinum,
I went back and...
fuck me dead. Nice. What do you have to do for that? Actually, don't say it because I don't want spoilers. I'm still making my way through it. Actually, we're not talking about it this podcast. We talk about it every podcast.
We are banning Elden Ring from the podcast forever.
Yeah, we can't just keep doing this every week. We can't keep talking about Elden Ring.
You guys that needs to be in your intro.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the intro. Should we fucking start it?
Y'all ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it. We'll see you legends on the other side.
6-second countdown starting.
Hang on, I'm just gonna tell my wife to cool it.
Yeah, she's going ham over there. Oh, I might have to do the intro.
All right, I'll re-record it.
There we go.
All right,
hey, started?
Take 2.
Sorry, Mia's like talking hell fucking loud. I was like,
do you want to be on the fucking podcast or not?
Take 2. Going in.
G'day and welcome to Oceanic Gaming Radio. That's OGR, Australia's utmost finety. Is that a word? Finest
Premium.
podcast of all time. No, anyways. How you going? I'm Capo. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Alongside me is my faithful companion, Big Timbo, Grizzly Gaming 86.
Good afternoon, all.
Big T, they
Cap,
call him.
Big T. Cap, I reckon your voice sounds much better, mate, now that I've just heard you that intro.
Yeah?
Whatever you've done, whatever you've done, mate, it's a win.
I'm telling you, I've done fucking nothing. In fact, I was so underprepared for this podcast today. It was outrageous. I don't think I've ever been this underprepared for anything in my life. But that's life.
Now, I'm sure the viewers are very curious to hear from Pav and whether he has actually carked it from COVID yet, or how's he going in that isolation?
Do you have COVID?
I'm doing good. No COVID. I'm out of ISO. I'm back to work.
So you have Novid. Yeah, let's go.
Oh my god. I'm going to use that. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. Just make sure you cite me on those when you do. But yeah, so Grizzly, the PC, it's in action.
Dude, you start, mate. Tell me about it. Tell me what happened.
It's finally freaking here, dude. I can actually use my PC. So, we've gone through the specs and stuff before, so I won't bore everyone at home with that. But basically managed to get it back from the computer shop, and
they did give you an upgraded graphics card, Cap. They
did upgrade my graphics card. Yeah. I think only in the end, like just having them look at it cost me like $70 over all up, plus that was including all the extra things they did. So I thought that was pretty good. Because obviously you got to pay them for their time. They can't just fucking look at your computer and be like, oh, you know what I mean? It's kind of like
shout outs to PLE in Perth though. They are pretty
absolutely, dude. The Bentley team, big fucking bunch of legends. They squeezed me in as well, so that was fucking nice of them. But when they found out that I was from the Oceanic Gaming Radio podcast, mate, they were like, "Oh, actually, that's going to be 4 weeks now."
Now, Cap, I did ask you this before stream, but I'm going to ask you now, just so that everyone else can get as worked up in the loins as I was. How many frames are you rocking on these?
Many frames. It's like sitting around 200 on Destiny 2 on max settings, which is fucking nuts. Actually, the interesting thing was, Grizz, right? Less about the frames, more about the temperatures. Now, I was shitting my pants because I was playing Destiny at about 85 degrees C, which is fine. It's okay.
Is that your GPU or CPU?
That was GPU. CPU was fucking like 40 degrees or something. I was just like, damn, boy, this
cool
is
as a cucumber. Those Intel CPUs run pretty cool too, don't they?
Oh yeah, but I've got a water cooling block on it, so that keeps it nice and cool. But so I was getting 85 on the GPU, and I was like, oh, dude, like that's ridiculous. Like, this is a brand new build, got good airflow. I bought special fans. Like, come on. And then I realized that I hadn't really I don't think the GPU fans were really doing anything.
They're not spinning at all.
They're not doing anything. So I downloaded MSI Afterburner and changed the fan curves and stuff. And now it's like 65 to 70 whilst playing Destiny. So I've lost literally fucking 20 to 15 degrees. Nuts.
Man, I should probably... I actually don't run Afterburner on mine. I would have no idea what my GPU temps and stuff are.
It's worth doing because, I mean, when you think about it, dude, like, you don't want your card running at like 1 billion fucking degrees Celsius all the time. Like, you want to try and, I mean, it does make it louder, obviously. So if that's not in you'd prefer to have a quieter PC. Obviously, it's going to be running at a higher temperature. But for me, I'd rather it be running cool and a little louder than usual than being super hot. But
absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what else, Grizz? What else has been happening with you, mate?
Well, before I jump into what I've been doing, I will reiterate that we have decided as a collective that we are scrapping any talk of Elden Ring on this podcast.
All right. I solemnly do here swear that I shalt not speaketh of the ring of the elders. I swear it be.
We do cop a fair bit of flack that we may as well become an Elden Ring podcast from time to time. So, you know what? We fucking made the executive decision to tone it down.
It's a bit hard not to fucking talk about it when it's the greatest game that's ever been fucking made. So,
that's very true.
I don't even know what to say about that. But anyways, we'll shut up about Elden Ring.
We are talking about Elden Ring when we promised not to talk about Elden Ring. No, Cap, you know what, dude? My life's been very normal. Like, I don't think I've been doing anything. All I've been doing, dude, is working out, eating and drinking, and spending time with my kids. Nothing out of the ordinary has really happened. But that's good, mate, every now and then. We've obviously got Easter coming this weekend. I've got a gig on Friday night, so that should be good.
4-day weekend here in Perth, WA.
4-day
I assume
weekend.
everywhere, but I don't know how that works internationally and outside of our little WA bubble. But I'm quite looking forward to it.
One thing that I did go and do today, I went and bought a new video game today on my PlayStation 5.
Oh my God. What is it? Did you know we talk about video games in this podcast? We could talk about that game if you want.
Well, maybe I will. We haven't actually covered this game at all on this podcast yet. And so maybe I will cover it on the next episode after I get some hours in. It is the Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, yeah. The new one that was on PS5.
The new one. Yep.
Actually, have you got a physical copy of that?
I do, mate. Yeah, hang on. I'll grab it.
Might borrow that after you, if you don't mind.
It's floating around here somewhere. Yeah, mate. Of course, mate. Of course.
Have you played the earlier titles, Grizzo?
Dude, the last one I played would have been on PlayStation 2 a very, very long time ago. So I haven't played any of the ones, the predecessors yet. But basically, Kazi's been on my back about playing Ratchet and Clank. So,
dude, the first one came out in 2002, just to make you feel hell young.
2002. Dude, you don't reckon I was... Hang on, 2002, where was I? No, I was definitely older than that. So I must have played... What platform, Cap?
That was
what
PS2.
Platform?
No, yeah.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
Shit, mate, dude, maybe I did. Maybe that was the one I played. Maybe that was the last one I played.
I'm looking at the images because in all honesty, I don't think I've ever played a Ratchet and Clank game before. I mean, I'm obviously familiar with the IP, but I've never played it before. I always just thought it was like a Jak and Daxter clone, but obviously it's not.
Okay, here's a funny tidbit for you. Apparently, if you are into furries, Ratchet and Clank is a good game for you. So I hear.
Is that right? Okay. Is that right?
Look on Pav's face right
now. No one at home can see Pav's face right now, but yeah, he's interested. Okay, very cool. Well, I'll keep that one in the mind bank for later. Cool. Well, Rez, let's jump straight into it.
Good,
mate, rejoice, for Kingdom Hearts 4 has been formally announced and gameplay shared. Well, I don't know if it is 100% gameplay. It looks pretty cinematic. So have you watched the trailer yet, Grizzo?
I have, mate, and I have been told that there is snippets of real gameplay in there. So just to add to what Cap said, so this is apparently during the 20th anniversary event of Kingdom Hearts. Square Enix announced the 4th Kingdom Hearts.
Which, might I say, is nuts. Yeah. 20 years of Kingdom Hearts, man. 20 freaking years. Nutty. And I'm sure that a lot of people know what the game is, but I mean, for those who don't, Kingdom Hearts is like it's a hybrid kind of Final Fantasy come like Disney mashup. And it's not actually Final Fantasy. There are some Final Fantasy characters that do blend in there here and there. Like Sephiroth, I believe, shows up in one or
When
two.
you say it like that, dude, that sounds so bizarre.
Dude, it fucking is. And I remember listening to a interview, and like the guy who pitched it initially, everyone was just like, dude, what are you talking about? And then Disney was like, we're listening. And they're just like, what? The fact that you got it through.
Goofy and fucking Donald Duck and stuff like running around. And because I haven't, so the last one I played, Cap, this is very similar to Ratchet and Clank. I think there might be an ongoing theme here, but the last one I played, dude, was the PlayStation 2 version, which I believe was #1. And you end up going to like the Winnie the Pooh Bear place and like finding Tigger and everything else and kind of like cruising around these little zones and everything else. But yeah,
dude, that was 2002 as well.
Was it? There you go, man.
Dude,
see,
Kingdom Hearts and freaking Ratchet and Clank come out in the same year, dude. You would have been like a pig in shit, mate. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself. Well, I tell you what, though, Gris, really, just to quickly interject, when I was watching the trailer today, Goofy's Japanese voice actor is fucking A+++, dude.
Really?
It is so good.
I didn't pay attention to it. I did not pay attention.
I don't know. It was just so goofy. Like I could tell it was goofy. But like obviously Japanese language, it was just classic. But anyway, sorry to interject. Carry on.
No. I was just going to say, talking about the trailer as a whole, mate, it looked very different to what we'd seen in the past
Big
from
time.
Kingdom Hearts games. It looks very modern, current gen, obviously. So I assume it's going to be coming out for. They haven't announced the platform this is going to be on, but and Cap, just to add to this as well, mate. So you can actually get hold of the Kingdom Hearts games, all of them, on your PC now via the Epic Store. So
Really?
I don't know whether, yeah, no shit, and that's how I'm going to go play them. And they're actually remastered versions as well, which is kind of cool. So
yeah.
If that interests you, actually, dude, I went and looked at it because I wanted. This came out, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go have a look at it. But they're like $90 a game for the three.
You know why they're $90 a game? Because people will pay $90 fucking dollars a game. That's why. That's just how it works. There's nothing we can do about it. But Grizz, I've got to be completely honest with you. I frankly couldn't care less.
No, you couldn't? No, not excited?
No. I'm excited for people to get their fourth iteration of their Kingdom Hearts games, but I just don't think I jumped on the bandwagon at the right age. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of the same. And just to really spell this out, there is a diehard fan base that sits behind these games. There is like streamers that dedicate just their stream to playing Kingdom Hearts, and it is genuinely a beloved game for many people. I kind of like, I feel the same as you, Cap. It's not something that really captures my heart. I will definitely play it because it does look cool, and I actually do quite like the crossover between RPG elements like weapons and stuff like that, and then hack and slash games. So maybe I might go back and play the other ones and see how I go and play it. But yeah, Cap, this to me is sounding a bit like Kirby for us, where the nostalgia market isn't hitting us.
Yeah. Look, I think a lot of my mates that really, like, I've got a lot of friends who obviously play video games, and I've got a lot of mates that I went to high school with that played video games, and all my friends that played Kingdom Hearts back in those days in high school and stuff, and before, they are still Kingdom Hearts fans. I never played it, and I really feel that that's kind of gimped my enjoyment for the IP. Like, I tried to play Kingdom Hearts 3, and I just wasn't. I played a lot of it, and I enjoyed it, but I wasn't thrilled with it.
Which was the Kingdom Hearts 3, dude?
That was the more recent one.
Okay, yeah.
So that was on PS4.
I was yarning about this on my Twitter, saying which ones should I play? What order should I play them in? And I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong in chat. Maybe we can fix this up. But the most beloved in the franchise, I believe, is the first one still, and the remaster that they made for Epic is the most popular. But dude, you should go and have a look at the Epic Store when you find time, Cap, and have a look at these games when you go to buy them. It is so fucking confusing. Like Retro Swim has just talked about it there. There is Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 2.5, 2.5 remix, 2.5 service game, 3, 3.5, and just like all these weird fucking versions of the games.
How's that last one? 358/2 hotfix 2020 with Internet Explorer. It does kind of feel like that though. Like, you kind of don't really know where the fuck you are with the franchise. But yeah, I don't know. I think if you, because I did a lot of research because I came into number 3 and I was like, I have not got time to play 1 or 2. So, you know, I tried to learn all the story and what was going on there, and tried to figure out like kind of a play order so I could then kind of figure out the lore and stuff, because, you know, I love my story. But I think ideally, Grizz, like, you can probably, if you are going to go back and play them, I'd probably just play the main ones. I think. I'll probably just go 1 or 2, 1 and 2, and then play 3, and then I guess if you want to play 4 as well, because I mean, if you're obviously going to play 4.
Yeah, I might start with 1. I'll play through it. At least I hold a little bit of nostalgia there because I did play it, and I have been told, Cap, to not put it on the hardest difficulty. As much as I really want to do that, but I've heard that it just makes the game fucking frustrating and really difficult. Not in a good way. Just things have heaps of health and stuff. So
yikes. Yeah, I think I don't know. Look, I think overall, like, as a IP, I'm sure people are going to be super stoked with it. I do actually quite the look of the recent trailer. It's obviously like you said, more modern. It looks like it's set in like kind of like almost like a Tokyo kind of city. and a big monster's there and they're fighting it. So it's very different to what's been in the previous games.
Did it remind you of? It reminded me of the Final Fantasy VII remake a bit in terms of the way the character.
Definitely elements
look.
of it for sure. And I mean, they're same company, dude. So I'm sure that they shared they probably even share the same engine. Who knows? I don't know that for sure, but yeah, I don't know. I tell you what though, Grizz. Maybe a good thing for you because you don't really give a fuck about story. But if you want to try and figure out the most convoluted fucking story of all time, it is fucking Kingdom Hearts for sure. I tried to watch a couple of videos on just how the story goes.
Is it?
Oh, dude, it is insane. It's absolutely fucking insane.
Show, mate. It's got Goofy and.
Dude, I'm telling you, like it's like you know how there's like kind of animes and it's like I'm trying to think of the best way how to word this properly. Basically, like, you know what it's like? Oh, my friends, with the power of friendship, it's like always like that. But with this, it goes to the next fucking level where like the power of friendship is actually a fucking power. And then like, dude, it's just nuts. It's just, I'm doing a terrible story of explaining the plot, but I'm just saying like, it is like full steroid on that. But then it goes into like all these crazy, like, this is happening at this time, and then this person's doing that, and then at the same time this happened, but actually it wasn't him all along. It was this other guy, but it wasn't even that guy either. It was actually this other fucking guy. And dude, it is fucking crazy. The lore in that game is out of control.
Cap, I do remember when I started the first one, that even the start when you're selecting your character and you were asked all these questions and there was these little dark dudes and Sephiroth showed up and it was all very like a bit strange and a little bit like that's good, man. That's good. It keeps the diehard fans wanting for more of that story. So
for sure. Like there's definitely enough complexity there. It's not just your standard run of the mill anime kind of story. It definitely has enough complexity there to kind of keep you interested. But yeah, it's hard to keep up with. I'll tell you that much for fucking free. But it'll be interesting, Grizz. It looks like obviously Sora, the main character from the earlier games, is going to be.
We've seen Goofy and Donald Duck in there as well already.
All the boys, the band's getting back together again. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I do wonder whether maybe they'll take more of a what's the word? Maybe make the new story less dependent on the previous stuff. Maybe not try and onboard some new people. That will be interesting because I always thought that the Kingdom Hearts 3 was kind of going to be like the end of the initial saga, and then the next games was going to be kind of like a new story, so people didn't feel like they had to sort of try and figure out all the baggage that came along with the other games, if that makes sense.
Do you know what's real funny, Cap? This is you spilling this shit off, you coming to me going, Grizz, I haven't done any research, mate.
Dude, I just know this shit, mate. Mate, this is why I've been meaning to do podcasts for fucking ever, because I just know way too much shit about gaming, and I have no outlet. And I'm not very fucking fun at parties when I talk about this shit, mate. So I may as well do it on a fucking podcast.
Love it. No, you're right. And we did ask the chat, particularly Sly Frost Paul, before the stream started, whether he had any hot takes on Kingdom Hearts, and he said that there might be a potential Star Wars crossover in this one.
Which actually, that makes a lot of freaking sense, right? Because obviously Disney is Disney, so they've got all of their different IPs. It makes me wonder, Grizz, will we see some freaking Marvel stuff in there?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it depends on what Disney basically gives them access to, but I mean, who freaking knows? We could have anything, which is kind of cool. I think Star Wars would be really rad. I know in Kingdom Hearts 3, they had like a segment where you would fly between the different worlds and you'd build your little ship and stuff. So, I mean, I'm sure they could do similar kind of stuff again with maybe Star Wars stuff. But yeah, super rad. But the thing is, with the whole like modern day Tokyo kind of thing going on with the trailer, it kind of makes you wonder how it's all going to tie in, right? Like, how are they going to go in between stuff? I'm sure there'll be portals and they can go here, there, and everywhere and whatever else. But yeah, I'm obviously in the trailer. Enemy design looks fairly similar again. Like I think the enemies are called Heartless.
Well, that enemy that we saw is fucking huge, though. Let's just
he's like a Godzilla enemy, and Sora is just like zipping around. I tell you what, Sora is the most annoying motherfucker to play against in Smash Brothers. He is a bastard, absolute buggerel.
Yeah, you play a lot of Smash, don't you? At your work, you guys play lunchtimes and stuff, whatnot, don't you?
Yeah, we generally play, lunchtime, put about 15 minutes down and just have a few games. But yeah. Anyways, but yeah, no, that it looks cool, man. But yeah, moving along, Grizzly, Unreal, the Unreal game engine, Unreal number 5.
So I'm hoping we can break this into 2 little bits here, Cap. I want to first, if we can just yarn about the engine itself, and then we'll talk about the
nothing
games.
more.
Love nothing more. Talk about the games that are potentially coming out of this engine and what it might mean for those franchises. So we have had a couple of little snippets around what's coming underneath the engine. Have you watched the engine trailer, Cap, and some of the...
I've watched bits and pieces. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was over half an hour. Mate, I don't have that kind of fucking time these days.
So just to spell this out for you guys that are listening in at home, the Unreal Engine... sorry, what is it called, Cap? Epic releases basically this engine, right? And they've got
gaming
Unreal Engine 4.
development engine.
It is a gaming developer engine, and it is free essentially.
Now, hang on. Before you say it's free, it's free up until a certain point.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of things that go into the engine. There's heaps of little, like, I'm going to say, for lack of a better word, but plugins. There's different things that you can bring in and out of this engine, and I believe that some of them to pay. But just to spell this out for you, apparently, Cap, as a stat, 48% of next-gen releases have used Unreal Engine in some way, whether it be assets, bits and pieces that are in there.
Yeah, my small foray into game development, which was very small, my kind of understanding of game engines was that, like, so there's a couple of big ones. There was the Unreal Engine, and there's also, what is it called? It literally, Unity. Unity is the other one.
Yeah.
So Unity tended to be kind of generally 2D games, or games that were sort of lo-fi or lower graphic fidelity, and Unreal was like where the the big boys go to play with the high fidelity graphics and all that kind of stuff. It does seem like the lines are being blurred a little bit more recently. Unreal obviously shared this big kind of update to because they've gone from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5 and shared a lot of information on that. But Unity's done a similar thing and shown some very impressive graphical
What kind
updates.
of titles are under Unity, Cap, off the top of your head? Do you know any?
I can't tell you off the top of my head. If you keep talking, I'll get you a list. How's that sound?
Okay. Well, I'll start talking about some of the features. So essentially, what Epic have done, they release quite regularly updates on the progress of Unreal Engine 5, and the last one, which was, it's called a State of Unreal. If you want to give that a quick Google, there was like a keynote speech on it, which basically eyes were popping all over Twitter with some of the stuff that they were talking about in this. I'll just quickly touch on a couple, but in terms of what this means for developers, they use this lighting system called Lumen Hyper Realistic Lighting System, and it is apparently fucking insane, Cap. So it's a global illumination system where lights bounce off objects. We see it very similar in ray tracing and GPUs and bits and pieces. But the example that they showed and what they were talking about in one trailer that I saw is they had lighting coming through a window, and they had a bunch of objects that were sitting in the room that they were just moving very small, and based on moving those bits and pieces, it would change the reflectance in the room. So there would be different bits and pieces that were lit up in the room that weren't classically lit up. And the way that the guy that I listened to was explain it to me is that the lighting previously was kind of like one rendered piece that would go into a game, and when things move, it would not render another bit. But this Lumen model is constantly evolving with the objects and as they're moving, and it's constantly evolving using less resources to do so. So it's just like hyper realistic. Basically, the lighting model on it is supposed to be pretty dang fancy.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like just some of the different sort of graphical, systems that they're implementing these days. Like, I mean, some of the stuff that they showed in this trailer just looked absolutely nuts. There was a big segment on how they wanted to really buff up the the way that we display humans in graphics and just the way that they're doing the texturing of skin and all this other kind of stuff. It's very impressive, very technical. Obviously, this is definitely a more technical aimed kind of thing. But obviously, as gamers, we're interested because we're going to be playing these games eventually, right?
So these are called metahumans, right? And they've got models for things like blood and hair and cloth physics as part of these humans. It's all built in. So you can, if you home in on someone, Cap, I don't know if you've seen the footage, but you can see like the facial hair and you can see like the flushing of the peach fuzz, and you can see the flushing of the cheeks during emotions and stuff. And to kind of like, it's just absolutely.
Yeah. Dude, I tell you what, one thing I can't wait to do is like give up on the whole meta shit that we keep talking about. You know, metaverse, fucking metahumans, fucking, oh man, I'm over it. Anyways, but yeah, this looks really cool. And one thing that was announced during a Grizzo was Crystal Dynamics announced that they're working on a new Tomb Raider game.
Woohoo!
So that'll be pretty cool. Obviously, I don't think they showed anything. They're just like, oh, by the way, we're working on this in Unreal 5, I swear. Can't show you anything, though.
So what do you, Cap, what's your take on the Tomb Raider games, mate? Are they a beloved franchise for you, or is it hit and miss, or what's the go?
Look, I didn't really get super into them when I was younger. I think like the tank controls really turned me off them. Like you go from playing Mario to fucking Tomb Raider, dude, and it's just like night and day. Like, you know, you literally like you're like dude, whereas Mario's just like woohoo, you know, like
I feel like Lara Croft was a massive hit with people in our generation, though.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you feel the same way? Like
absolutely.
It was like, yeah.
I mean, she's an icon, dude. Like, you know, like, you know, obviously, like, I think a lot of people really enjoyed those games. I mean, they're good games, right? Like, and the new iteration on the Tomb Raider games has been pretty well received. I quite enjoyed my time with them. Dude, I did my usual with those games, is I never finished them, but they're pretty good. I think the way that they've managed to recreate the series in next gen has been pretty decent for the most part. I kind of like the whole you kind of moving around and crafting, and it's kind of semi-linear, semi-open world. But it will be interesting to see what they do with this game. I would imagine they'll probably go full open world to some degree.
I would like to think so. And just touching quickly on the whole Lara Croft thing. So apparently the Unreal 5 Cap has the ability to really correctly integrate physical animations of characters and then digitalize them. So similar to what we saw from like Lord of the Rings, you know, in the movie where there was some imagery of lots of different bits and pieces on. So they're getting really realistic movements and bits and things happening with people that are then used in Unreal 5. So that's going to be pretty cool. I don't know whether we're going to see Lara Croft in all of her glory doing backflips and all sorts of stuff that are looking pretty good. Not being as jank as the originals, like you say, Cap.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think for me, the biggest thing with facial animations and stuff is just like a basic smile. I think like that's where a lot of stuff seems to fall apart. Like it just looks like sometimes, like when you see a smile animation, it often just looks really like when they're trying to get, like, you know, when you see those tech demos and then you see someone smile in the tech demos of like the next generation facial animation system, and then you see the smile and you're just like, well,
there's so much there in a smile though, dude, because it's
absolutely
the teeth and it's like the mouth. But the one for me, like you say, is talking, dude, is so, I swear it's fucking hard. Even now, man, like talking is just go Halo, mate. Chuck a helmet on him and then you don't have to worry about him talking.
Just fuck the facial animations. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. The other thing, obviously, and I don't think we've spoken about this on the podcast yet, but there was another Witcher game that was announced a couple of months ago, which is also going to be using the Unreal 5 engine. Looks like it's going to be a brand new tale. I don't know if you've seen Grizzo, but they basically shared a single kind of art piece that was just like a medallion in snow, and the medallion seems to be a new Witcher school. So probably new protagonist, maybe a different time period. So maybe moving away from old Geralt of Rivia. So
that's good, dude, because I kind of felt like the physical engine that sat behind The Witcher It wasn't as groundbreaking, or wasn't like it didn't really like it's a bit janky. Cap, do you know what I mean?
Yep,
Like the
absolutely.
interaction between sprites and stuff was so something like I'm actually really happy, mate, that they're using Unreal 5 for this. I think it'll be make the game a lot more less jank, I feel.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that kind of translates in the actual game, because I mean, your game's only as jank as you let it be. You know, if you spent time doing QA, you could probably iron out a lot of those bugs. I mean, I'm pretty sure that CD Projekt Red used their own game engine, or you know, kind of subset of another game engine for Witcher 3.
And
but
so did Tomb Raider use their own one. I think they had a name for it here somewhere. I can't see it. Foundation? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they all have these random fucking names like Genesis Engine,
now,
shit like that.
Cap, the other title which I didn't put on the run sheet that is getting developed under Unreal 5 is Hellblade 2.
Now, dude, did you watch the trailer for that a little while ago?
I haven't seen the trailer for it.
Looks fucking crazy. I haven't even played the first one, dude, but it was like watching a movie, and they were like, all of this is gameplay. And I was just like, mind blown.
Dude, Hellblade 1, I watched the playthrough on Just Cook's channel when he played it, and dude, it is like a freaking cinematic the whole time. And I think that apparently the best thing about the Hellblade series is the audio is insane. Like they tell you to wear stereo headphones and stuff, and it's like very much a audiophile.
Dude, you have got to go and watch that trailer, because it's pretty nuts. It's very like pagan kind of Viking vibes, very dark, and like it's like what's her name? Sasuna?
Cena or something, or something like that. Yeah.
So she's running around with her mates on this beach, and it's really dark and weird. And then she finds this cave and basically goes in there, and there's this like big giant in there, and they're like trying to fuck it up. And then the giant is like doing fire. It's honestly nuts. It's awesome. I'm doing a terrible job as per usual of explaining it. But
how long ago was the trailer released? I'm surprised I didn't catch it.
I vaguely think it might have been during the Game Awards last year, which would have been like November or something like that. But I mean, it's very easy to miss things during Game Awards and stuff, because you just get bombarded with just a shitload of stuff.
So freaking lootly.
But yeah, overall looks interesting. Watch this space. We'll see how it goes. I'm quite looking forward to that myself. I think another Tomb Raider game. Will I play another Tomb Raider game? Maybe is the question. Maybe.
Probably not for me, Capo.
I'll definitely play a Witcher game, though.
Unless I can lock the butler in the freezer, I don't want any part of it, mate.
The butler?
Do you know that meme?
No.
One of the very early Tomb Raider games, dude, you had this butler that was walking around with a tray, and it was a meme that you could like, he follows you around and you can get him to follow you, and then you can lock him in the freezer and you just leave him in there.
That's it, buddy. Enjoy that. But yeah, all right. So that looks pretty cool. Actually, Grizz, was it Unreal 5? Yes, they did. So last year, in the Unreal 5 engine, they also released some like a tech demo for that Matrix. What was it called? Matrix Experience or some shit that came out roughly around the same time that the new Matrix film came out, and that got all kinds of rave reviews as well. So,
have you taken a look, dude, at the? There's some. When you find time, have a look in the run sheet. There's a YouTube clip in there on the making of that, and there's some crazy fucking thing, dude, where all the windows and the amount of polygons they've got to make that city that are all active at the same time. You know how we've talked, Cap, about it before, where objects behind you don't get rendered, and then when you turn around and they're rendered.
Yeah.
So in this Unreal Engine 5, apparently all the objects are always rendered, but just at different resolutions. So you might have they show an example, and they show all the active polygons that are in this screen, and they show like all the windows and the window sills of this city, literal city for this Matrix, just like pure insanity.
Because that kind of stuff is actually in current gen stuff. Sometimes you'll I've seen it happen in Dark Souls, even like you look into the distance and you'll see the textures are lower res because you can't see that far, kind of thing, So and then you get the spyglass out, and you're like, oh, that looks like shit. Yeah. So all right. Well, moving along, Grizzly Gaming 86. We've got a new Monkey Island game coming out, mate. Now I've got to be honest with you, Grizz. I have not played a single Monkey Island game, and what consoles was Monkey Island out? Was it PC?
It was all PC, mate. And
I think that's probably why.
I hold these games extremely close to my heart, Cap. So for me, dude, this has to be one of the most nostalgic game series of all time for me. I played them to death on my old Pentium 3 CTR monitor. Like, that is literally the age. It's like the old. I think we might have even had it on our school computers and stuff like that. But for those of you that don't know, it is a point and click, very old. Old game series that actually first came out in the 1990s, and essentially it follows a character by the name of Guybrush Threepwood and his journey in a very stylized, cartoony game that is absolutely just full of wit and comedy. But it's all voice acted, Cap, zany, and man, like I honestly reckon you would really enjoy these games.
What's his name again?
His name is Guybrush Threepwood.
Dude, that legitimately just sounds like someone's gone to like a fucking Dungeons and Dragons character creation, like random name picker, and just press the button and jacked it in.
Yeah. Now, there's a little bit of history behind this, Cap. It's fucking interesting, right? Because for almost a decade, right, the Monkey Island series has been considered dead. That is because the original developer, LucasArts, shut down in 2012 after Disney acquired Lucasfilms for $4.5 billion. So it left a big glaring hole, mate, in the story of the series, because the way that number 3 finished, it wasn't finished. There was clearly more story to be told, So it was a bit disappointing for a lot of fans when this was bought simply for the sake of the story. This game was going to be no more.
Oh, it's interesting. I saw something, Grizz. Obviously, this game was announced on April Fool's Day. So people are like, But the creator and designer of the Monkey Island series, Ron Gilbert, he did say, if I ever announce another Monkey Island game, it's going to be on April Fool's Day. And he did.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
so true freaking story. And he went ahead and did so.
I'd be curious to know your take on this, Cap, because the games at the time worked really well, right? Because they're point and click games. They don't use a lot of like computing power or anything. It's essentially just drawn images, and you kind of make your way through the game. Do you think that following this same game dev style, where it really relies heavily on the wit and the voice acting that carries the game, and little on the gameplay, do you reckon that's going to hold up in current gen, what we're looking at now? What do you
Dude, it'll just depend on how good the writing is, because this is going to sound really dumb, but games are very rarely actually funny.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but again, I've never played a Monkey Island game, but people say they are legitimately hilarious. If they can manage to recreate that again, I think they'll have no issue bringing this to current gen. I don't think people will give a shit whether it's a point and click adventure game or whatever it is. As if the writing is good and the story, and it's legitimately a good entry to the Monkey Island games. And if Ron Gilbert's in there again, heading the whole project, hey, there's every chance that it probably could be. But I think if they fail to nail the humor, it's going to be very difficult for them to have a reasonable success.
Apparently he's been working on this for 2 years, dude, and just been keeping this. And this is announced for later on in the year. So this is coming 2022 apparently. So he's kept that sneaky in the back pocket for a while. Yeah, and there's a few fingers in the pie here too, Cap. So this is a collaboration between Terrible Toy Box, Devolver Digital, who helped bring Fall Guys.
Dude, how good is Devolver Digital? Can I just say?
Yeah.
Just everything they do, man. They fuck it. They've got the fucking Midas touch, mate. Everything they do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they're so good with their game PR too, Cap. Like, I remember when Fall Guys came out, and I've said this before, I think maybe on this podcast before, but they sent basically they did a big they knew that their market was the Twitch streamers, like as many people they can possibly get playing the game on Twitch streamers. They reached out to small and big, said, "Hey, do you want to play the game? If you do, here's a free copy. Here's a bunch of the currency for the game." They even mailed out a physical T-shirt to me and some crowns and stuff. Like, I'm a small time streamer, but just very And they did. They captured that Twitch market and very successfully. So
I just think they're very intelligent with how they do things. Like I guess that's kind of the benefit of not being a big mega corporation, is that you can probably be a little bit more grassroots and down to earth, and maybe approach things in a different way. I mean, obviously, Twitch streaming's massive these days, and it's kind of difficult to detach yourself from that when you're releasing stuff like, especially video games, because I mean, they're just so closely tied in. But like, to effectively communicate your game through a media like Twitch, there's still an art to it, and I think they've done a really good job in the past. Obviously, Fall Guys being kind of like a battle royale style game, and the way that they brought that to Twitch, great way to do it. Obviously, get smaller streamers involved, get lots of people involved. You'll sell more copies. It's that fucking obvious. It's that simple, because people see those games and they want to play it. But yeah, we're kind of off track a little bit here. But so Monkey Island, Grizz. Tell me about the trailer. What do you think about what you've seen so far? Recurring characters.
The trailer is tiny, dude. It's basically Guybrush Threepwood comes in, and then a little skull comes up, and he says, "Ron Gilbert said that he would never make another game ever again." And it's like just a meme. It's like fucking 20 seconds long or something, dude. But it's got the classic music. It's got Guybrush Threepwood, who is the pinnacle of these games as your main character. And I think, dude, or I know I am, and I saw some other people in chat. There's a big retro sim just going, yes. But it has a very cult following. Some of my schoolmates as well. I sent this out when this news came across my desk, and a lot of I think there'll be a lot of excitement, a bit of nostalgia built around this.
Oh, dude, absolutely. But I mean, even like a studio like LucasArts Games, like they've done some pretty impressive stuff. Like a lot of the older kind of Star Wars games. I mean, remember the old Indiana Jones games and stuff that were on the Super Nintendo? I think that was that might have been no, that was the point and click one as well, the LucasArts one. They've done all kinds of good shit, dude. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Again, I think this is all going to hinge on whether they can nail the humor, and I'm sure that Ron Gilbert has a few tricks up his sleeve. So
it's 30 years since the first release, Cap. So that's pretty crazy.
30 years.
Yeah. So 1990, dude, was the first Curse of Monkey Island game.
Old as shit.
No joke. And I think the biggest thing is that it will tie the loose ends they've got story-wise. Well, maybe they'll have another one after this. Who knows? But that's kind of cool. People have literally been waiting for
I'm gonna call it right now. One of the opening jokes they're gonna have, right, is it's gonna be Guy Thrushbush or whatever his fucking name is. What's his fucking name?
Guybrush Threepwood.
It's gonna be him literally
losing it.
It's going to be literally him tying threads together, and it'll be some joke about loose ends or something. That'll be the first joke. Promise you. All right. Now, if they want to hire me for fucking more jokes, I am available. All right. But moving along, Grizzly, Fortnite has raised $144 million for Ukraine, for the Ukraine relief effort. That's nuts.
Absolutely nuts, mate, isn't it?
2 weeks of raising money. They've managed to raise a total of $144 million.
It's pretty big, dude, on Fortnite, like an Epic, because it was all of their money, all of their income. I actually thought it was just a portion of their sales, but they actually donated all of the income made for the game for a 2-week period.
Wow.
And it also coincided, Cap, with the release of the no build mode, when it had a massive influx of people coming back to play the game. I bought the battle pass because I did a stream. So there you go.
Do you know what's kind of crazy is think about it, right? They made $144 million. Is that the profit they made?
Yeah.
And so they gave that to the Ukraine.
2 weeks.
Dude, even if they're making fucking half that 2 weeks, they are making so much money off this fucking game. It's out of control.
Yeah,
absolutely out of control. I can't believe it.
Nuts. Yeah, and this was
out.
so Epic's efforts are just one of several Ukraine-related fundraising initiatives from game developers that we saw. Cap. So League of Legends also did one. Riot Games raised 5.4 million, and then a bundle of nearly 1,000 games on itch.io, which you could buy with the monies going to proceeds, raised nearly 6 million, and Humble Bundle raised nearly 20 million. So
yes, I mean, gaming has done some good shit. Basically,
significant spondles, mate. Significant spondles.
So I tell you what, man, $144 million in 2 weeks is nuts. That's like, that's pushing $1 billion, man. I mean, it's not $1 billion. Obviously, it's not $1 billion, but it's like in that realm of like, wow, it's fucking up there,
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
But yeah. So congratulations to Epic Games, and thanks for being, just being reasonable humans.
And I think this is also a little reminder, just a little plug from our end that, you may not be seeing the Ukraine stuff in the news as much, but obviously that conflict is still going.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped. I mean, there's been some
stopped.
horrible atrocities that have been uncovered recently. So if you can help, do help. And it's good to see people helping where they can. But yeah, all right, moving along, Grizz Remedy and Rockstar Games are remaking the first 2 Max Payne games for PC and Xbox Series X. So not coming to PlayStation by the sounds of things.
No, this fucking article is bullshit because it doesn't say it in the title, but then way back down, right down in the bottom of the article, it says it's coming to PlayStation 5 as well. So I initially thought the exact same as you.
Right, there you go. Well, Samuel Talbot, get your shit together, mate. Stop writing sensationalist fucking bullshit titles that I read on a live podcast and look like a fucking idiot.
Have you seen that Anchorman thing where he just reads whatever's on the
I'm Ron Burgundy. I told you I was underprepared for this episode. Well, Grizz, did you ever play these games first?
I did, mate. It's actually I was actually thinking about this and I was trying to cast my mind back. I actually have to go watch a couple of trailers to remember what this particular game was. But I think that this might have been one of the first point and shoot games that I played alongside CS 1.2 back in the day. And I remember it was a standout for me because it had this mechanic, dude, where you could slow time and you could dodge bullets and you could like shoot where you slowed time. And I think I'm kind of spitballing here, but I know that the Hitman series was quite popular off the back of this, and I felt like it was a very similar slow time mechanic. So I think they went reasonably well, these games, Cap? They're pretty popular?
Oh, I think so. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Hitman must be popular enough that it's getting more new iterations coming out, right? So, I mean, they've had a couple of new games recently-ish. So,
did you play Max Payne?
No, I didn't actually. Okay. I can't really tell you why. I just don't think I really got around to it.
I mean, it was a long time ago, dude. But yeah, the big one for me was apparently the storytelling was quite good in these particular games.
Well, I hear it was kind of almost groundbreaking in a way because it was kind of like that gritty cop flick, but they did a really good job with it, which a lot of games in those days hadn't really done kind of that movie-esque kind of storytelling kind of in the past. I mean, obviously it's been done well, but that kind of gritty cop thing hadn't really been pulled off properly. So this was kind of like the first time they'd done it.
What are your thoughts on this actual release, though? Like this announcement that these games are being released, because I felt it was a little bit lackluster. So they're saying that these games aren't coming till 2023, fucking ages down the track. We haven't seen any imagery, nothing really, and it's just kind of like, oh. And I feel like they're bringing out an announcement for games that maybe like isn't that beloved? I don't know. I feel like they needed a little bit more to kind of try to pull people into this. Man.
I think there's enough, like probably Max Payne enthusiasts that you get people excited. Dude, I honestly just think companies do it these days just to get the share price to go up a little bit. It's just a marketing thing that they do. Get the word out. People go, oh fuck yeah, cool. They're doing, because I mean, Remedy are the guys that did. Is it Alan
Vanguard?
Wake?
Yep, Alan Wake 2 and Control, apparently.
Yeah. So, and it's been these games are going to be getting built in the Control engine, which Quantum Break was in as well. And I'll tell you what, mate, those games look pretty freaking schmick. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I honestly just think overall, Grizz, I think it's just companies doing company things, trying to get word out, announcing partnerships. Obviously, Remedy is doing this on Rockstar's behalf because they own the IP. Sounds like Rockstar probably got their hands tied up getting GTA. What is it? Fucking 7 or some shit. I don't know which one it is. 6? Is it 6?
I don't know, man. I fucking lost track of when there was like 3 of them released.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like they've been harping on about GTA 5 forever. Like, isn't that like the stock? Isn't that the gold plated GTA?
Well,
GTA 5 is like the jam.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 5 was obviously the most recent one that had the online kind of stuff, but I'm guessing that they're just too busy to really give Max Payne the attention they probably believe it deserves. Now, I believe the breakdown of this is that Rockstar will pay Remedy to develop the game, which I tell you what, man, is a fucking pretty sweet deal for a game development studio to get paid to develop a game, because it's not normally like that. It's normally like, let's develop this and hope like fuck it sells, because otherwise we're fucked.
And I also hear it is they're paying them for what a AAA game would be released as well. So
exactly right. So they're going to be paying them correctly. Now, the other thing is there will be some kind of profit share that happens once they sell their targets. And that's when the royalties will come in after that. So, look, if they do a good job, I guess seems like a decent structure. Like, in terms of business-wise, I think it's Rockstar being fairly generous.
Being Rockstars.
They've been known, Rockstar, for being pretty bad with, crunch and stuff like that. And I guess not iron-fisted, but they're always very quiet about their internal business practices and stuff. So I think announcing a partnership like this and discussing like how the actual breakdown of payment stuff is, that's actually quite interesting, because I don't see many companies doing that kind of thing. So maybe it's a little bit of PR for them as well, to try and get some positivity.
I feel like it's so important these days, Cap, in particular, to have transparency with that kind of stuff, because if something comes out in the media about shady practices, dude, like cancel culture right now, like fucking watching what happened with Blizzard, it's just like you've got to be so careful, man. Just do it by the book and do what you should do by the company.
I mean, for the most part, just don't be a piece of shit.
Don't be a piece of shit.
Don't be a piece of shit. Shit works most of the time.
Now, Cap, talking about physical remakes, so I don't know if it says it in this particular one we're looking at here, but is this going to be like is it going to be the exact same game, but just on new engine and everything else? So the storytelling is already there and everything else.
Because it's obviously one of those things where we live in a world where people are very careful whether they call things remasters or remakes. Obviously, this is fitting into the remake territory, so I would assume that it will be a full remake in the new engine, which obviously they're going to have to do. But I guess they'll have maybe a little bit of artistic license to do things, because Grizz, I believe that so they're remaking 1 and 2, not number 3.
They're doing them into one game or not, or what are they doing?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll have it split so you can open one and the other in the same kind of release, maybe, or maybe they release them separately, one at a time.
So number 3 is not getting released. Is that right?
Not yet. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because now I've not played any of these games, so the fact that I even know this is kind of weird. But I believe in Alan Wake 1 or 2, there's like a note you can find that basically says that Max Payne dies in number 3 or some shit. So
really, dude?
Or he died in number 2 or something like that, and number 3's not canon or some shit like that. There's something along those lines.
There's some hot lore in there, okay.
Yeah, so anyways, we'll see what happens. So I don't know. I guess they're just doing 1 and 2 because probably they're the most beloved of the 3, as per usual. What the first couple are always the faves, but
so Cap, as a follow-on to this, I feel like in the last 5 years, we've witnessed a huge catalog of games that are being remade and released on next gen, whether these are, like you say, remakes or remaster version of these games. And I wanted to talk a little bit around why that's happening. And then I wanted to talk about the titles that we're seeing coming out, and then maybe titles that we would like to see that are remastered in the old days. So why are companies doing this, Capo? What's the drive behind remaking these old games, mate?
Dude, I'm just going to sound like a dick, and it's just nostalgia makes money, dude. People want to relive those moments, and I think when people go back to games and they play them, you know, a lot of these games obviously retro now. They go back and play and they're like, oh, it's not quite as good as I remember, or like maybe the fidelity doesn't quite generate as much, you know, kind of that nostalgia again.
So I feel like the backwards capability thing that we're seeing now is really spelling that out when you go back and you play one of these old fucking games, dude.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so you go back and play it, and you maybe, I mean, obviously there's a bit of nostalgia there. Like, oh yeah, I remember this and I remember that. But maybe, you know, like also think about it this way, Grizz. Why recreate the wheel? Like, why don't we just recreate something we've already done? We don't have to design more story elements. We don't have to fucking do any more character creation. It's all fucking done. We just recreate it in a different engine. It's a no-brainer, dude. It's going to save you shitloads of money in staffing because you don't have to really get an awful lot of people to do all those things already that have already been done.
So not only is it nostalgia cap, well, it is mainly nostalgia, but it also opens up the market for this game for people that haven't experienced those games that maybe wanted to, or that have heard about a particular game back in the day being really successful. Then it's like, well, I'm going to go play that. An example of where that happened for me is that Shining Pearl Pokemon remaster that came out on Switch a couple of months ago. You know, obviously that was a beloved game, and bringing that back as a remaster was. And I was like, yeah, fuck, I'll go play it. But dude, we've seen heaps, Cap, and I'm going to run through a couple of them now for you. Just this is 11. This is in the last 5 years. We've got Diablo 2 remastered, Demon Souls, the Halo series, Final Fantasy 7, Resident Evil 2, Link's Awakening, Pokemon Shining Pearl, Brilliant Diamond, the Mass Effect series, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, and the Spyro series. Like, they are just coming out of the woodwork.
They don't stop coming. You know,
that's it, dude.
I mean, they've got the Knights of the Old Republic getting remade as well. Like, there's so much stuff on the horizon as well, dude. I mean, Bot in the chat has made a good point as well. You know, recreating these games, you're guaranteeing your sales. You know, people like you and me who have the nostalgia for it are absolutely going to fucking buy it. Whereas if you bring out a new IP, it's a little bit more tedious and you don't know how well it's going to do. You know, will those characters that you've created gel with your intended audience? You know, how well's are things going to go? I mean, you've seen what it's like these days with creating new stuff, Grizz. Like, you can create look at things like Undertale and Hollow Knight, like brand new IPs made by indie development studios go fucking viral, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, just because like it's much less of a risk for these bigger companies. I mean, this is what it all comes down to. It's risk, right?
There's developers that just specialize in the remakes as well, mate. I believe that the guys that did Demon Souls, that's what they do, and they've done a couple of others under their belts as well.
Well, actually, one of the when Blizzard initially announced that they were going to be implementing some new people into the upper management, they had two people, a woman whose name I can't remember, and another guy whose, again, name I can't remember. Now, the lady who joined up as like the kind of part CEO, she worked for Vicarious Visions, and they were the guys that did the Tony Hawk's remakes.
Those remakes were excellent, by the way, dude.
And they also did the Diablo remake. And that's literally what the whole studio does. They pretty much just do remakes. Yeah,
the Diablo 2 remake for me actually nailed it, dude, because nothing had changed, but I felt like the nostalgia was still there. The enemies looked like I imagined them to look back in the day, but it was amazing, like beautiful, really nice lighting, and everything was great. Game ran really well.
Yeah,
it did a good job.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how far we go with the remakes. It'll probably get to the point where like they just start remaking shit that people are like, We didn't fucking
we
want
don't
this, dude.
Yeah.
We didn't want fucking, fucking, I don't know, some
You
shitty
know,
game that
dude, this is a
came
funny.
out.
This is off topic, dude. But my wife actually listens to these podcasts, and
Yeah.
she said to
Hi,
me,
Loz.
she listens because she does quite a lot of time, like where she's like doing letterbox drops and stuff, and she's very supportive. Wife, but she reckons that we should talk about retro games more, like real old ones, like that were on like the fucking, because that's the shit that she grew up with, all the old ones. She's like, why don't you talk about Pong or something? I was like, because no one fucking cares about that.
Yeah, no
shit.
one gives
Like,
a shit about Pong. I don't know. I think what do you know what I like about this podcast, Grizz, is that we talk about current J like shit going on, but it all blends into things that have already have happened in the olden days.
Hmm. Very true.
Stuff that's happened with retro games and how we got to here and stuff like that. It's all a big ecosystem of gaming and where things are coming and going. It's I know what she means though. Like, to be honest,
just said that he'd love to hear about Pong, Cap. So there you go.
maybe
We'll do a history session. We'll do a history lesson one day and do some research. But real quickly, Cap, have there been any remakes that pop into your mind that were shit? One for me that I know,
dude.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Warcraft 3 was
Yes.
very poorly received.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was because they had like they were like kind of missing cinematics. The graphics weren't anywhere near what people were kind of expecting. I think like some of it wasn't even voice acted or something like that.
Yeah.
There was just all kinds of shit.
And essentially what came out at the end, Cap, is that they wanted to prevent people from modding the game and making their own game modes because Dota, I believe that Dota 2 came from a Warcraft mod.
It did,
which
correct.
They then turned into it. So it was kind of like a...
Dude, I remember playing that mod.
Do you? Yeah. They shut down all the modding capabilities basically on the remake and said, fuck you guys. And then they closed all the ability to run the old Warcraft 3 mods and stuff as well. So it was a bit of a sneaky one.
Well, another recent one, Grizzo, was just literally just the GTA remakes that came out recently.
No good?
Oh, they were horrific, dude. Like, just really low fidelity. Like, there was this one bug where if you kind of like wiggled your car would slowly increase in size. It just kept getting bigger and bigger. It was random shit like that. There was this one thing where like they'd obviously tried to like do like a pass over all of the in-game models with like a certain kind of AI kind of thing, and and there was like a donut store in the game which had a big donut on the top of the store as like a a big symbol, and the donut had been turned into like a bolt because like the texture had like fucked it up. Like it was just things like that. Even like some of the character textures for the like NPC quest givers and stuff inside the game just looked utter garbo. Apparently it ran like shit, like just terrible remake. So there's definitely the potential for these to not be very good, and we've given obviously a couple of examples, but what would you want to see remade, Grizz?
Okay, quickly before I run into that, I just got to read out Sukai's comment here. So the tournament they held, this is for Warcraft 3, to promote the launch of the remaster ended up being played on the original Warcraft 3 because the remaster kept crashing.
Oh my god, dude. Such a hunk of shit. Yeah. Oh, it's kind of interesting that like the Warcraft 3 remaster was so shit, but the Diablo 2 remaster was so good. You know what I mean? They did a really, really good job of
Man, I remember talking about this with you, Cap, but I was so conflicted when the Diablo 2 remaster came out because there was all that shit that was going on with Blizzard, and I didn't want to financially support them, but I really wanted to play fucking Diablo 2 remastered.
Yeah.
So I just made it known that they're a bunch of fucking idiots, and then I went and played their game and just trash talked them instead.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, that's what it's all. It's public opinions and a very, very strong and wonderful thing that you can leverage.
That's right. All right. So my top games, Cap, that I would like to see remastered, and these are all hold sentimental value to me from when I was young. Diablo 1, I would love to see almost a remake of that though, because there's a lot of stuff that was shit in that. For example, we used to have to walk everywhere. I'd like to be able to run. But yeah, my first dip into the Diablo franchise, and it was one of the first ones where you could play co-op over internet using dial-up, whatever else. That was good fun. The other one is Chrono Trigger, but made similar to the Final Fantasy VII remake. I reckon would be fucking nuts.
Dude, you fucking stole mine, you motherfucker. Bastard. What the hell am I going to talk about now?
I reckon people would go absolutely nuts for that, dude.
We legitimately were talking in our chat saying, all right, you think of some and we'll discuss them, separate when we come back. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I'll do Chrono Trigger. Chris will never think of that. Motherfucker. Okay.
All right. The next one I got was Super Metroid, the SNES version, but made to look like Metroid Dread kind of looks. Now, I know that people are going to go, but because there's heaps more mechanics in there. I'm not talking about that. It can still be 2D, but 3D, 2D, where you've got like more environments behind them and that kind of thing. Kind of stick to the way that game was, because it was a beautiful, perfect game. But yeah, I think that would be great. Looking good on like a Switch or current gen would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the last one for me, Cap, was Zelda Ocarina of Time, with ray tracing and looking fucking... Is that on your list as well?
Yeah, for fuck's sakes.
Well, you can give different reasons. Mate. That's all I forgot. That's the remakes that I had on my list, mate.
Yeah, I think, look, going back to the Chrono Trigger one, like, I think they could do a really good job of even maintaining the kind of graphical style, but maybe doing like a 3D version of it. So you still have that kind of top-down kind of thing, but then like people like you kind of they're jumping into battles and they're having that kind of like because I mean that's the cool thing about Chrono Trigger is it's kind of like static but dynamic battles that are happening in the world as you kind of walk into them, rather than like obviously you'd had games like Final Fantasy where you'd be walking around and it'd be like and then you're in a battle, right? Whereas with this, like all of a sudden you're surrounded, or you find a rock and you walk into it and it turns out to be an enemy, and just stuff like that. I think they could do a really good job of that. And actually, Grizz, there is a game coming out now. What was that called? Like something Chrono Trigger Star game. There's a game coming out. I can't remember what the heck. Sea of Stars. It's an indie game that looks very much like Chrono Trigger that you should go and check out.
Sea of Stars. Okay.
Yeah, it looks very freaking cool. Just as a kind of brief foray into that one, just go and check that one out in your own free time.
Sea of Stars, I put it on my list, mate. Yep.
Yeah, so that would be really good. I'm a massive Legend of Zelda fan. I would love to see an Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask full remake. I think they could do have you seen like people do those like Unreal Engine Ocarina of Time mashups and stuff like that? Like something like that would be really freaking rad, I think. And it'd be even cool if maybe they mix the story up a little bit, maybe not too much, but just added more stuff. You know what I mean? And just embellished it.
Didn't they remake a Zelda game recently and it was a bit shit? Is it like? Do you remember that? I remember seeing Barb playing it and he was getting pissed off with it. It was like I think it's available on Switch.
Oh, it wasn't the Skyward Sword remaster?
Yeah, yep. I think it might.
I think that's just Skyward Sword in general. I think people just don't really like it.
Oh, really?
People think it's a bit shit, and it's not the best one.
Skyward Sword HD edition. Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I don't know what they could have done with that game. I mean, I think the game just wasn't that well received anyway. So, what do you do? I honestly maybe the original Banjo-Kazooie. I think it'd be pretty sick. Like a decent remake of that.
That would be so fucking good.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see a lot of my stuff would be like Nintendo 64 games, because that's where a lot of my gaming was done. Like I'd love to see even just like a Mario 64 remake, dude. I think would be tight. So like really, really like just good really lean into it. Just basically super fucking high def that shit up. Make it look real sexy. Chuck in some new worlds in there, and just do that. I reckon that would be sweet. Like, because Odyssey was kind of seemed to be very highly inspired by 64. So
absolutely, mate. Yeah.
Maybe if they did that, but maybe added a little bit of extra flair to it, they could almost merge the two, which would be pretty sweet, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be where I'd want to go.
Jumping mechanics and bits and pieces felt very similar to me in Odyssey.
Oh, absolutely.
A bit more polished and.
I do need to go back and finish that up, because it was.
Me too, dude. I didn't finish it either.
Yeah, it's. I very, very rarely finish games. I'm still working on Elden Ring, and I know we said we wouldn't talk about it, but there it is. Now, Grizz, we probably should move along, mate, because we're an hour and 10 into the episode. Let's start off with the quickfire stuff. We're going to begin with the OGR Twitter poll. Now, we run this Twitter poll every week. We try to put it out on Sunday, but today we put it out on Monday. And that's just how it is. If you want to participate in future polls, make sure you follow us on Twitter. You can do so by searching us up in the Twitter sphere. Oceanic Gaming Radio. Just Google it. I'm sure you'll find it. All right. So what did we ask this week, Grizz?
All right. Weekly poll time. What would make a better movie? Super Smash Brothers or Mario Kart? Before we read the results out, if you are in the Twitch chat, please let us know what you would rather see. And we'll get right to it. I've got some opinions on this. Do you have some opinions on this, Cap? What do you reckon, mate?
Dude, all right. Here's my fucking hot take, and I think we just come out and give the people at home listening the poll results, because I think it's important that we share this before we talk about it. But so Super Smash Brothers won with 61.5%, and Mario Kart came second with 38.5%. Now, I'm going to tell you why Mario Kart would be better. Okay.
Then I'm going to tell you why fucking the other game is better, right? Because that's what I voted.
Hey, you don't even know what the other game's called. You can't even fucking remember it.
Smash Brothers.
Dude, imagine Fast and the Furious, but Mario Kart. That would be fucking sweet, okay? What would you do with Super Smash Brothers? They'd just be running in between each person, each character's thing.
I can tell you right now.
It'd be shit. It'd be boring. Unless it's going to be Mortal Kombat.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine fucking Mortal Kombat. Imagine Mortal Kombat, dude, but you've got like Zelda coming out, and it's like, who's gonna fucking save the universe? And, he's so good, dude. And then all of a sudden, the Pokemon get involved, and like Samus comes out, and like it'd be sick.
I'm just imagining Tokyo Drift, but literally just like Mario characters, man. I think that would be pretty sweet. I think they'd both be pretty cool. All right, Nintendo, just do both. Fuck it. You know, just do both. Now, the reason we brought. Sorry.
How did we get to this, Cap? I actually don't even know. So
the reason we brought this up was the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 director said that he's open to making a Super Smash Brothers movie. Now, I don't know why he announced this, because I don't think Nintendo's been like, hey, you want to do a Super Smash Brothers movie? I'm absolutely positive that they have not said anything about that, because the Super Smash Brothers movie would be a fucking licensing nightmare. It would be fucking ridiculous, dude. There's so many different IPs in there that they have to try and pull in. I just think it would be fucking ridiculous.
Maybe they'll just grab the original characters that were in fucking the first one and be like,
I mean, how would you perceive that to play out? In my mind, I would think like it would just be like, I don't know.
Johnny Cage is sitting there filming, and then Ryu comes up, and not Ryu, fucking
Scorpion. Well, Ryu's in there.
And they go to the island and they fight each other to the death to see who's the winner. Wait, this is Mortal Kombat.
Hang on a second.
That's pretty much what happens, mate. All right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think Mario Kart would be pretty sweet. But anyways, so there you go. That was the OGR Twitter poll for the week. If you'd like to participate in the next one, make sure you follow us on Twitter, and then you bloody well can, and we'll try and get it out a bit earlier this time next week. This week. All right, moving along, Grizz. Activision Blizzard to convert 1,000 quality assurance workers to full-time positions and give them a pay raise. My God, man, that's nice. That's a good thing for them to be doing when they're in a sea of shit things that they've been doing.
So why are we hearing so much about these game devs fucking paying people more and being nice all of a sudden, Cap? What's going on here, mate?
I believe that there's a lot of stuff going on with... what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? What do you call it? Unions.
Oh, yes.
Unions. So Blizzard is notoriously anti-union. And I think that this whole sort of sexual harassment stuff that's been kind of bubbling up to the surface recently has kind of been a bit of a chink in their armor against this. And people have finally been able to start getting, unionization across the board. So, I mean, Kotaku had a massive thing happen recently, which we discussed, I believe, the week before last, with they had a massive win with a lot of their staff getting bigger pays and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the same kind of things happening here. But yeah.
So now, Cap, just to paint the picture here, these are So QA staff, aka, is this like game testers? Is that essentially
Yeah.
what we're talking about here?
Yeah. Normally, like the way it would work is they'd be like, all right, I want you to go and kick this soccer ball in the game, and it's just some random thing, and I want you to kick it in this area for ages and see if or find this bug or figure out what the constraints of this bug are, and then that information then gets sent to the developers, who can then use that information to try and fix the bug.
Well, I tell you what, Cap, I wouldn't mind getting paid $20 an hour US to go and play video games all day.
Dude,
I'm gonna go call up Blizzard right now.
I'm telling you right now, Grizz, this is not the way you want to play video games, because it would be fucking boring as shit.
Is that right?
Yeah, because you'd be playing early builds, they'd be janky as fuck. Like I was thinking about this the other day. I was just like, I wouldn't want to be a quality assurance tester. I really wouldn't. Just be a Twitch streamer, mate. You fucking play all kinds of games, and then most of them are pretty much ready to go. Yeah, give that a crack, mate. See what you reckon.
Too flooded, mate. It's too hard. I'm not good enough.
No,
it's too fucking hard, mate.
Yeah,
I'm just there for the friendships and the banter. Yeah,
and the podcasts.
And the podcast. That's it.
But yes, there you go. Bit of a win for those guys there, which is awesome to see. Now, Grizz, one thing that I had no idea about until reading it just before. A new Subnautica game.
I wanted to wait for you to fucking read this, mate.
Dude, that is exciting as shit, because I love the Subnautica games. They're so fucking good. I tell you what, there's very few games that manage to capture that atmosphere of underwater and just kind of like fear of the unknown, but also like that sense of exploration. They are an absolute masterclass in atmosphere building, and I just can't wait to see what they do next.
Cap, Subnautica is a horror game without the game devs even knowing themselves they've made a horror game.
Yep, I'd agree
with that. Because the way that they designed their atmosphere and the way that you can be in the deep ocean with 1,000 leagues above you and you can't see anything, and you run out of batteries, and then you lose your torch, and then you slowly drown. It's fucking horrifying.
I mean, it's basically a survival horror game, right? You can build shit and do all kinds of stuff, and there's this terrifying fucking underwater monsters in there. But so basically, the way that this was found, Grizz, that was the developers, Unknown Worlds. They are seeking a senior narrative designer to work with them to help shape the next game in the Subnautica universe. This person will collaborate closely with the team to tell compelling, dramatic stories in the context of the game experience, while also defining the history and lore of a new science fiction world and its alien inhabitants. It'll be interesting to see what they do next, Grizz, because I mean. So they had the original Subnautica, and then they had Below Zero, which sort of added a bit of an above ocean,
very ice landscapes. Ice was the key differentiator, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think you might see next?
Well, I don't know, man. Like, I like the way that they seem to take each game into a kind of, well, we've only seen two, but like quite different areas. So maybe we'll see like a bit of an open space. I don't know, man. They could go anywhere with it, because it's essentially alien life, right? So there's no bounds. There's no bookends to where they could take this game. So
yeah, it'll be cool, because I mean the whole story for a lot of this has been like these alien diseases that have been captured on these planets that they're worried about escaping from beyond the planets. And that tends to sort of be what the story sort of surrounds, and then obviously there's kind of aliens and all kinds of shit going on.
So I wonder if we'll take it back to Earth, Cap, and we're actually infected, mate. And when we infect Earth, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, I mean, it might not even be a survival horror kind of survival game. Maybe they do something different. Maybe they do some kind of narrative game. I mean, the cool thing is, Grizz, I mean, they've probably got a fair bit of money to work with now, because I think these games have sold pretty well. It would be interesting to see what they do. Maybe they deviate a little bit away from trying to expand the IP and do some new stuff with it, kind of like the Steam World games, how they've got a few of those Steam World Dig games. They got a card game. Maybe they try and expand the IP out a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they can come up with something different. I reckon it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer just another
I've always
Subnautica
said this,
game.
But I reckon, a third Subnautica game would be great. But I reckon that Subnautica would be a perfect game to really develop an IP-specific VR game for. Because I reckon, done right, Subnautica would be an amazing VR. Imagine controlling your ship in VR.
I tell you what, though, Grizz, like
this and this. And...
let's be honest. I mean, they haven't really said an awful lot. We got PSVR 2 on the way. Maybe Sony's been like, "Hey, can you guys develop something specific for this device?"
Dude, I would see that would 100% be a drive. I would definitely go buy.
Dude, I reckon that would legitimately be a console seller for them. Like, legitimately, people would buy that shit. Yeah. Who knows? And this is a thing. We're kind of in this world at the moment, Grizz, where we've seen a lot of big acquisitions recently, and there's been rumors that there's more acquisitions to be announced on the way. Who knows? Maybe this is one of them, Grizzo. You heard it here first. All right, someone clip this. If it happens, we'll fucking post this shit when it goes live. Freaking clip that shit. But yeah, there you go. We need to keep moving along, Grizz, because we're going over time. Okay, now I guess we just end there, Grizz, because we got nothing else to talk about. Oh, wait a second. What's this? Elden Ring on Steam Deck apparently plays excellently. I thought we weren't talking about this anymore, Grizz. I thought we made a pact. We weren't going to talk about Elden Ring anymore.
I was just joking. We're just joking.
We probably had Elden Ring content on every single instance of the podcast since it came out.
We have 100%. Elden Ring. It does have a lot of news around the game, though. There's always Elden Ring news. We've got a couple of little tidbits for you at the end. A couple of little Elden Ring stories here, Cap. What do we got, mate? What do we got?
Okay, so the first one is someone's been playing Elden Ring on the Steam Deck, and it looks pretty smooth so far. Looks nice. Have you seen the video, Grizzo?
Yeah, and so that he says the battery life is solid. It runs buttery smooth. I've put 50 hours in on this thing. It's definitely worth it. And he then goes on to show a bit of a demonstration around particular controls that he's using for Elden Ring on the Steam Deck. So those of you that don't know, Steam Deck is a Steam handheld device that Steam has released for you to basically play any, there is limits, but most of your Steam directory directly on a handheld device. And the reviews have been mixed to date. And I think we might have said it, Cap. I said if they put Elden Ring on this thing, perfect fucking platform to have Elden Ring on. Take it around and play it. But he's kind of saying that it's great because it comes with triggers, but it also comes with another couple of back triggers as well.
The paddles on the back behind the console.
Yes.
So you can kind of use your pinkies and stuff to reach.
I didn't realize that it had that, dude. That's kind of cool. So he's using he's bound them to Estus Flask and other bits and pieces that he can do things. He reckons it runs it's better.
Chris, it's better. Do you use the claw grip when you play Dark Souls games? No.
Do you?
So absolutely I do. Yeah. I get the my finger over the front to hold the run button down so I can then move everything around.
Well, it actually depends what I'm playing. It depends what I'm doing. I remember when I was doing my Dark Souls 3 Deathless runs and I was trying to do that, there would be bosses where I would go claw grip to allow me to have full control of the camera and everything else. But it's definitely not something that I do all the time. It's not comfortable for me, I don't know.
So the reason I got into doing it like that was when I was doing Dark Souls 1 speed runs. You kind of had to maximize your efficiency with getting through certain areas because it was too difficult to be flicking between running and then looking around. So you kind of had to use claw grip almost. But yeah, so did we talk about the other things that is pretty cool about Elden Ring on the Stream Deck, Grizz, apart from the claw grip thing? You don't have to claw grip anymore because you can bind a sprint button to one of the back paddles. It's now got a pause button, even though there technically is a pause button in Elden Ring. Just it's a bit shit.
What's the pause button? What do you mean?
What you can do is you can go into the menu and choose explain controls, and it pauses everything in the background.
I didn't know that, dude. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's not really a pause button. It's kind of like a bit of a budget pause button, but you can do that. So, So I mean, look, it looks pretty cool on the Steam Deck. So if you're interested, get excited for that. Now, moving along, Grizzo, Elden Ring has now been completed in less than 13 minutes.
Yeah, dude, this is fucking crazy.
That's fucked up.
Cap has asked me to look into this so that he doesn't get spoilers in his playthrough. So
I'm almost finished.
I've done my homework on this one a bit, but one thing that I want to talk about before this is a tweet that went viral today. Elden Ring speedruns are hitting it's technically a pacifist run stage of speedrunning, where a glitch is so powerful that the player no longer needs to even engage with the core concept of the game. And that is exactly how this sub 13-minute run is happening. So there's luckily no spoilers in your cap. I'll keep this spoil free, but they're using this technology called a zip, essentially, right? And this is so fucking crazy, Cap. What they do is they use a 109 BPM metronome, and when they block, the metronome starts ticking, and then on a certain frame, they press the up button, and they try that until they get it. It's like it needs to be literally frame perfect from when you do it, and your character basically zips through the world to a whole other section of the stage. Now,
Which
because
is
it's
presumably the end game.
Well, so there is like limits. There's called a mega zip, and then there's called a normal zip, and they have different like lengths depending on the inputs and
what
frames.
speedrunners come up with their fucking names and shit for things.
Yeah, mega it's fucking bizarre, dude.
Actually, this is brand new information, Grizz. We've just got sorry, Jesus Christ. We just got word from Amasukai, one of our lovely Patreon subscribers, by the way. Can I just add that Distortion 2 has cracked the sub 9 minutes.
I'm not fucking surprised, man. Like this shit is so crazy. But the craziest thing about this is, Cap, not only the metronome with the BPM, dude, but the way that the skip works is based on the frame rate that you're getting. So what that means is that it's super inconsistent. It dependent on what graphics card and what PC settings you're running. Some people have basically reported that they cannot, under any circumstances, get the skip.
So I wonder if it's better just to do it on a console then.
So I've only heard of people being able to do it on the PC. I don't know whether you can do it. Maybe you can do it on console. I'm not 100% sure.
Dude, that's so fucking I don't like the thought of that as a speedrun. That just sounds shit to me.
Well, I was hoping we could have a quick chat about that, but Elden Ring have basically gone. There's only one category that this fits under in the Elden Ring speedruns, and it's because there's still other ones that are retained.
Yeah, interesting categories.
This is exactly, man. And for me, Cap, this is not gaming, mate. This is fucking. It's basically a how quick can you break the game simulator to me. Yeah, but essentially, right, they just zip themselves into the end boss room, and you only literally fight like one fight, I think, in the whole fucking run, and that's the hardest thing because you're there with like no levels, so you need to like get a couple of weapons before you're there. But
so you run around, grab fucking rivers of blood or some shit, and then straight to the boss room.
They use that frost axe that you can use for Hoarfrost stomps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, with you. Okay.
Pretty insane,
there you go.
Dude.
9 freaking minutes, Grizzly. Well, Grizzo, that pretty much wraps up the episode. Everyone at home, thank you so much for listening. We bloody appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Can I just throw another shout out to our wonderful Patreon subscriber, Amasukai, just out here freaking being a legend. Appreciate you. If you'd like to join Amasukai as a Patreon subscriber and also get a shout out and also help the boys freaking pay for all this shit that we got to pay for this bloody podcast that I am not currently giving Pav any money for, poor bastard.
Pav is the sugar daddy for this one, mate.
Please, Pavy, Daddy Pavy. Go to Patreon and look up Oceanic Gaming Radio. I believe we'll have links in the description of this podcast and also in the Twitch chat right now. You can also follow us on Twitter. You can also follow us on Twitch, and you can probably follow us on Facebook, maybe. I don't know. We probably have no, maybe not. I think we might do. I think we've got a Facebook.
Yeah,
just search up Oceanic Gaming Radio or check out a link in the description. And please go and follow us there. Don't forget that we've got polls coming out every week, so you can go and jump in and get into there. We've also got a new Discord server. Get the frick in there. We need more people in there. We'd love to see you in there. And we're going to be starting to do some questions from members of the community soon, TM. That was a suggestion from Hantos, one of our wonderful Discord members. If you guys have any suggestions of the podcast, you can drop them in the Discord or forever hold your peace. But Grizz, you got anything else to say before we wrap this bad boy up? I think we've actually gone quite over time today. So, sorry.
Yes, my last bit of parting words is, fuck no, we won't stop talking about Elden Ring. No. I was just joking.
Yeah, we got you all along, you idiots. You thought we'd actually stop talking about Elden Ring? Ha! Stupid idiots. But guys, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time on the Oceanic Gaming Radio podcast.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Hey, can I just fucking say we have like 18 people in this fucking Twitch stream, dude.
Yeah, you guys are legends. Thank you for hanging out.
G'day,
That's like record.
That's
fucking
absolutely our
numbers,
record numbers. So thanks for being here, everyone. We bloody appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Good to see you, Sooks, you bloody legend, Pixel 9 Tails. Pav Leatherface, who's been here the whole time. Owen Honey, Kamikaze Cracker, Blindsided Moose. Who else we got in here? The Bogues. G'day, mate. Eric, good to see you, mate. Sly Frostport, obviously, duh. And Bod Maniac, Retro Swim, just a bunch of legends. Guys, we also really appreciate you guys having a bit of a chat in the chat during the episode. Obviously, we can't chat to you directly, but it's always nice to have you guys having a bit of a just a bit of a chin wag in there, and if we see stuff that we want to chuck in as we're recording, obviously we'll do that as well. But we hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. We're definitely enjoying recording them.
Oh, love them.
I think they're improving.
I think Honey may have just subbed to the Patreon as well, potentially.
What? Oh my god!
Honey. If you have, thank you so much, Honey.
Cheers,
appreciate it. But yeah, it's always great to like when you're yarning stuff to see you guys also bantering about the same subjects. I actually fucking love that. Yeah, it's really cool.
This is the most fun I've had doing content creation, literally for years. Even since I was doing Twitch streaming, like it's just so much more interesting to me to be talking about this stuff. And
oh, dude, your knowledge on fucking Cap's like, yeah, coming into this one, Cap's like, Grizz, I had no time to research anything, mate. Like, yeah, it is just like full bottle on everything, mate. Very impressive.
Yeah, I just have too much. Mate. I just have watched too much shit in my day with gaming. I got a bit of something to say on a bit of everything. But yeah. I think there might be one in the link tree, Bogues. And dude, thank you so much. Freaking appreciate you. There isn't. Oh no, yeah, there is.
I just want to show Kazi that I bought Ratchet and Clank today, Kazi. Fuck yeah.
If you go to the link tree here, Bogues, it's at the very bottom of the link tree. It just doesn't have its own thing, which we might need to fix up.
We will change that up.
I can't hear you, Pav. Are you talking? You're freaking muted, baby. I don't know how long you've been muted for. You've probably been talking the whole time.
No, not too much. Yeah, I'll fix it up. I put it.
There is a Patreon link down the bottom of the link tree. It's just like the symbol for Patreon, which I didn't even know that was the symbol. So
okay, all right. In that case, I will definitely. I'll put it on the list.
P for penis. If you need to know how to spell right at the top. Things. Okay, Bugs.
So we need a. That looks good as a description, by the way, Pav. I can't see any mistakes. Hang on. Did I see one? Why do we have? It says, Pav, in the description, it says 004555 Remedy and Rockstar Games are making the first two Max Payne games. Ha ha ha. What does it say? I
think I might have. I think.
Oh, dude, that's so fucking funny. What the fuck?
I think I typed it in my notepad rather than the Twitch chat. Where was that?
Oh, it's at the Max Payne one. That's so fucking funny.
Guys, I quite like Honey's title suggestion.
Ooh, I was just about to ask.
No, how about like absolutely no Elden Ring content in this podcast or something like that?
That's not bad because it's not till the very end.
Don't get disrespected. Every week, it never fails to get a laugh out of me. Yeah, I think something like that. Like,
I was saying like something about you guys are like big fat liars.
Or... Yeah. How dare you?
What did you think of that metronome skip, dude? Is that something that you've seen before, mate? In speedrunning? No.
It makes sense because like they're obviously trying to do something at a certain rate, but that's just I find those kinds of speedruns absolutely not interesting at all. No. I'd rather watch like all runes or something like that percent. You know what I mean?
Dude, I was speedrunning Donkey Kong Country 2 for a while, and there's these things called the wrong warp glitches where you essentially make the game think that you have hit the goal line by confusing it with another item. So it thinks the item that you've picked up is the goal line. And
that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, you'd need to do like certain moves and like throw shit and pick it up and then drop off the edge and just like glitching the fucking humble brag. Get the fuck out of here. But like just glitching the game, dude. That kind of stuff, man. I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about those.
See, it all depends on the the degree of it. Like I do feel like that Elden Ring one where you're just doing a zip. I just think that sounds so fucking boring. But actually, like turning another item into like a warp gate, that sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Like it all depends on the scale of whatever it is that you're skipping. Like the Legend of Zelda one for Ocarina of Time's quite interesting with like the wrong walk towards the start of the game and then you're suddenly in Ganondorf's castle. I just think like zipping through the map, I just find that so boring. It's just kind of like you turned God mode on and you're just flying. It just sounds like shit. So I don't know. That's just me.
Mate, looks like Bogues is on too. We are banking Patreon.
Hey guys, thank you so much, Bogues.
We're going to be able to pay Pav soon, I reckon.
Yeah, thanks for paying Pav on our behalf, guys. Appreciate it. Honey and Bogues, you guys are legends. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, I think that's going to... Oh, hang on. We need to get this freaking title.
Happy with this?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely no Elden Ring here.
$21 a month? You serious, guys? Fuck, thank you so much.
Ooh.
I think you just need to fix the word absolutely, switch the E and the L around, and we're good.
That is hell good.
Okay.
Patreon.
Absolutely.
Oh, dude, we got 4 Patreons, boys.
Holy shit.
4?
4.
What the fuck? Yeah. $28 a month, man.
Hello. Guys, honestly, that's so huge because that's going to help us reduce the cost of the services we use to record. So we just for full transparency, like what do we got, Pav? We have to pay for the software we use to put the podcast on all the different platforms. Mm-hmm. We have to pay for this Riverside thing that we're using. We got something else we pay for as well, don't we? Maybe.
Not at the stage that we can afford.
So we're obviously not affiliates on Twitch, right? So we don't get any ad income or anything from Twitch whatsoever. So at the moment, the Patreon is our
Grizz.
Quit my job now. Fuck yeah.
Grizz, potentially for the Styler Game Changers, we can do a push for affiliating the channel.
Let's absolutely try to do
How does that work with tax? I suppose we have to get an ABN.
Yeah.
I've
got a Grizzly ABN.
Yeah.
Why aren't you affiliates yet? Because we don't do the hours required, honey.
That would be literally the issue. We need a certain amount of hours.
A certain number of days within the catchment area.
We could probably just turn the stream on a few times.
And we'll probably even it out, to be honest. Yeah.
If I can do it, boich. Boich. How dare you? Does the first badge from Grim the Crow.
We probably should have just rebranded. You know what? In hindsight, we should have just rebranded that Twitch channel to. It's affiliated. It's. Shouldn't we?
My freaking thing started working. My freaking light.
Your lights just started working.
Yeah, it was like, hey, firmware update for your light, and I was like, wait a second, what?
We should have rebranded that shit anyway.
At this stage, we'll get to it. Get to all of that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
It's all good. I'm sure Kazi will still be able to get a first badge.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll get him in there. We're talking about him enough on the fucking podcast.
I know.
It would be only natural. But yeah, I think I'm going to go and chill out.
Oh, are we happy with this title?
Yeah, I like it.
What's the title?
Absolutely no Elden Ring here.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely no Elden Ring here, yo. Oh man, I'm gonna go hang out. For
episode 12. God damn.
I am gonna Ratchet and Clank tomorrow night though, Kazi. So pretty excited about that, mate. I see that there's a fucking extreme difficulty. I'm gonna bang that on too.
He's gonna ratchet your clank.
Gonna clank the ratchet.
All right, guys. I think I'm gonna leave it there. It's been wonderful. Thanks for hanging out,
That's
guys.
a wrap.
For a bit of post podcast banter, and I guess we'll catch you guys.
Oh, before shall we sort out a raid?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh shit, yeah, right. Where are we going, man?
Who we got online?
Noob's playing Elden Ring. Aussie noob.
Oh, dude, Aussie noob. Yeah.
That's the Aussie noob.
Is he doing? What's he doing? Where is he? Okay, he's somewhere
He's
obviously.
playing Elden Ring, dude. Fuck yeah, let's go get him.
Fuck yeah, he's shown his Elden Ring. Let's go.
215 deaths on the big fella.
Should we? What's our raid message?
What's our raid message?
Show us your Elden Ring.
Yes, show us your Elden Ring. Yeah. I love it.
And put the ogre in it. So like this. Hang on. I'm working on it.
Oh, yes.
Perfect. There you go.
Perfect, mate. Perfect.
Beautiful.
Please spam the fuck out of this, will you? Get in there.
You putting it up? Beautiful. All right, guys. We will see you next time. Next Monday, we'll be back.
See you.
Episode
Same time, same place.
Episode 13 next week. Believe it.
13. We have to skip 13. We have to go straight to 14.
Unlucky.
That's an evil number.
Thanks for hanging, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for hanging, guys. We'll see you on the other side. Make sure you use the raid message.
Bye-bye.
Bye.